Hello, everybody! Alberto here, back with Video Game Rambles, joined by, as always, Merle and Weiss. How's everybody doing tonight?
Absolutely terrible. No, I'm kidding. It's great. What about you, Weiss?
Rest in peace, NeoGaf, and nothing of value is lost.
True that. Absolutely, 100%.
I completely forgot about that, Weiss.
You're welcome.
Yeah, well, Schadenfreude is great, and death to all people who, well, do that kind of shit. If you're nasty, don't do that. Easy.
Wait, GameFAQs is still good, right?
Yeah, GameFAQs is still pure. It's not like all of the admins were trying to cover up the sexual assault charges of the owner of the forums.
Oh, I was just gonna
Yeah.
say because I'm using some of the walkthroughs for McManic's command mission, which we're not talking
Yeah.
about this week. So on to what we're actually talking about. First off, before we really get deep into the discussion, I just want to apologize for a couple things. For not posting last week. We were all, mostly me, dealing with a bunch of things and got super busy and hectic. And I apologize for that. Also, I am very sick. I don't know if people can tell in the recording because my voice is always monotone. Yay! But yeah, very nasally. So I'm not gonna be talking much in this episode, just so I don't sneeze and cough and die in the middle of recording.
Definitely don't do that. It would be hard to stop the recording to post it.
Yeah.
And my son will probably post it. If it, wait a minute, I'm too young. Oh, whatever. Anyway, so let's start off with Hat in Time, because that is a really pretty game. So Weiss, I'm handing the baton to you.
So, yeah, I mean, I played A Hat in Time mostly because I needed something to fill, I guess, a few days trying to fill time going up to Mario Odyssey. So why not pick another 3D platformer? The important thing here is it's 100% better than Ukulele was. Whereas Ukulele picked absolutely the wrong game with Banjo Kazooie to copy. A Hat in Time picked a great game in Mario Sunshine to copy. I think really that says a lot of what I would talk about here. Is that A Hat in Time definitely went the better route in picking Mario Sunshine. Its game loop is a lot more focused. For example, you start a level like any of the Mario Sunshines, it's relatively open, but each time you start what is a what they call it, a timepiece instead of a sunshine. It modifies the level a little bit. You've got an obvious goal. You go get the timepiece. Things are cool. If you look at Ukulele, it picked the Banjo Kazooie copy, which is here's an open world, collect a bunch of shit, get bored while doing it. Um, so really, I mean, that is the big difference there. And you're looking at two games that, at least this year, a little bit last year, were sort of pumped up as like the revival of the classic 3D platformer. And Ukulele fell on its face because it went with Boring Collectathon and A Hat in Time, even though it got delayed a bit, for being a lot more focused of a game. I guess what else do I say that's sort of a brief on that. The big thing that it does that's a little bit different from Sunshine, like Sunshine had Flood, it had, Flood was your main attack, it was there to use for puzzles, that kind of thing. A Hat in Time, based on the name, is all about the hat. You get the hat with a bunch of powers, you unlock them as you go, so it could be anything from stuff that you use for like turning platforms on and off, to offensive stuff. You can get like a sprint power. You can get pickups that allow you to do like hook shots and that sort of thing. So they took the idea of Mario Sunshine in the game loop and then gave you a ton of different powers to use. So it really kind of expanded out the repertoire a lot to where it doesn't feel as samey as it really would have been if they had just gone and said, "Yep, we're making Mario Sunshine," and go.
Yeah, a lot of what I get, just like I haven't had a chance to play it. I have preoccupied myself with, because I recently bought a Switch, Legends of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now I'm on Fire Emblem Warriors, and then I'm also waiting for Mario Odyssey because that's probably all we're going to be talking about for the next 7 years. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
But like I've followed Hat in Time because it showed up in my Twitter feed, and it was just a beautiful, adorably designed game. And it really feels like they put a lot of time. The developers really care about making a love letter to the GameCube style of platformer, like Sunshine, where it is semi open ended. It's collect a thing, complete the level, but they really took time to expand upon what they loved about it, and I feel like that love really shows. Like in Mafia Town, you can just play patty cake with one of the like hitmen trash mobs. Like who thought whoever thought that that would happen?
Well, you play
Of
patty
just
cake and then you get punched in the face. So
That's true, but you still get to play patty cake. So it's just it doesn't really take itself too seriously as like we're gonna make a real homage to GameCube era games like Mario's Sunshine and the like. But it's still like it takes the time to have fun and not take itself too seriously, which I think is exactly what you need in a game that's supposed to be a love letter to that era
I
of
think
platformer.
I think the main difference between ukulele versus Hat in Time is just like personality. Like everything felt so drawn out and had like actual characteristics and personalities with every single person and mob and stuff that you came out with. Or it's like ukulele, you just like did a thing, yay, on to the next one. And the few social interactions you have with different characters is just like jabs at the genre or whatever
Yeah, I
trait.
think yeah. So uh story time, but we're gonna keep it short. Fallout 3 is a great game. Fallout 3 is also a huge victim of nostalgia, and when you look at it critically, you realize that the game itself is really lacking despite the amount of hours that you put into it. There's a 3-hour long video essay that I watched all about it. And what it really tells me and reminds me is that nostalgia is great, but it is not a factor that alone can create a successful video game. Nostalgia is literally all that powers ukulele. It tries so hard to just be, haha, we're Banjo Kazooie, we're that rare era of Donkey Kong 64, and we're great, and you should definitely enjoy us. But in reality, it's just half baked mechanics, and the only thing that's really redeemable is the soundtrack.
I mean, the thing to also keep in mind there is that with ukulele, their entire writing was based around the idea of making in jokes and puns about the games from the N64 era. So the writing just sucked the entire time. There was nothing redeemable about the story in that one. Whereas if you look at A Hat in Time, they weren't trying to make some like genre in joke game. They were making a 3D platformer that was in the style of a GameCube platformer, but their story was written for the game and what was going on in the game. So, sure, it wasn't super serious or anything like that, but it was enjoyable. When you go into the Mafia area, there's a bunch of little story bits built around the idea of, rescuing this island from the Mafia. When you're in the, haunted forest, your soul gets taken away, and you have to get your soul back by doing a bunch of stuff. So it's each area has its little story that's lighthearted, but it's actually written for the game instead of trying to be some in-joke marathon.
Sorry. Yeah.
I don't know. That story that you just brought up does have some dark sides, Wise. I've seen.
I mean, it's all lighthearted. It's the kind of thing that you'd expect from a lighthearted platformer in terms of how it gets rolled out, basically.
I mean, sure, losing your soul can be unfortunate, but like the same thing happened in Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Like Dupless steals your body. That's Twilight Town, or whatever. So it's not like that's necessarily foreign to genre of lighthearted game to still have like some serious moments.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even call it serious, to be perfectly honest. It's one of those things where it's like the joke gets written into like you just signed away your soul, that kind of thing. So it's entertaining is basically what it boils down to.
Oops, you made a mistake. Now we gotta undo that mistake. Haha.
Pretty much, but it's little things like that. I mean, even in looking at how they built out the worlds, the Mafia world is like an open island that you have access to from the beginning. You get like this movie studio world, I guess you would call it, where you have a bunch of different movie sets that you're, quote unquote, filming videos in. You get one that is absolutely open world in the style of Ukulele, which is really funny because they absolutely pull off an open world collectathon level better than Ukulele does. So it's, while they're doing their little story bits in there, they're also playing with a bunch of stuff that, sure, the core gameplay is still the same, but they twist it up a little bit by just changing how the world is laid out. And P.S., the camera still kind of sucks, but, at this point, 3D platformers, I don't think I've played one other than maybe the Ratchet and Clank series where the camera didn't suck. So, oh well.
Yeah, camera management always seems to be a problem for 3D platformers.
And to be fair, it's difficult because you never really know what the player is thinking about. Oh, what if because there's like, that's the thing with like open world platformers. There's so many ways to get around certain obstacles, to whereas you don't know if the free roam camera like is really helpful for a situation, or if a camera that's locked right behind the character and just moves very stiffly is good, because each one has their different things. If you do both, it's weird.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the closest I've seen is like Mario 3D Land and Mario 3D World were still effectively 3D platformers, but they use a fixed camera. And in A Hat in Time, there's a few areas where they'll do, a relatively fixed camera. Sure, it'll move through the world with you or whatever, but the camera's on a fixed path instead of having control of it. And it's those sections that are just always the easiest to deal with, because you're not taking your hand off of your jump and attack and all that kind of thing to move the camera around. I think that's really where things just start going haywire, is when you have to start taking control away from the face buttons. But anyway, that's about the short version there. If you are looking for a 3D platformer, play A Hat in Time, or just wait until next week when Mario Odyssey comes out.
Yeah. Mario Odyssey is going to be so good.
I'm sure we're going to be talking about that at some point.
Non-stop. It's the next big thing. It just looks like Mario 64 in Sunshine, but like better.
20 years newer.
Yeah.
And it's got people in it, and it's an orchestra, and it's lively.
They brought back Pauline to a main game, and not the Mario Jr. versus Donkey Kong or whatever for the DS. It's got jazz.
Which, by the way, go on Google Play's music store or on the iTunes store, go buy the theme song and put it on repeat. You will not be disappointed by that.
Yep. Definitely not at all.
Anyway, that's all I got. I just wanted to make fun of Ukulele again, because quite honestly, they done fucked that one up. Play A Hat in Time, it's better.
The only way that Ukulele could be more of a joke is like Mario Sunshine. They just had horrible, horrible actual voice acting for absolutely zero reason. I still hate that, dude.
Bring back Bowser Jr.
Mama Peach, Mama Peach. She's not your mom. Shut up, kid. Sorry. It just upsets me to this day. It had no place whatsoever.
Oh, I don't know if we talked about this, but speaking of Ukulele versus A Hat in Time, I remember this is one badge that's actually a little jab at the Banjo-Kazooie Ukulele thing that makes it a little bit funny. The I Can't Hear You, the one where you basically listen to the whole voice soundtrack with your hands over your ears.
I think you're going to have to find this and post it in the comments, because I do not know what you're talking about here.
Alright, I'll look on my phone while we talk about the next subject.
Yeah, throw that in the description on the video for us so that people can catch up like me.
Yeah. I do not understand what your reference is, but everyone can understand what my reference is. It's Fire Emblem Warriors. I'm so pumped, guys. I tried to segue and it was really bad. Just let me have my moment.
Go for it.
Oh man, Fire Emblem Warriors released this past Friday in America. It has also been out in Japan for like 2-3 weeks or something at this point. The game is very good. It is Dynasty Warriors, both Fire Emblem characters, and Fire Emblem mechanics. I played a lot of Hyrule Warriors when it came out. I've put probably somewhere in the vicinity of like 250 to 300 hours into that game since I have purchased it, and I'm still not done. There's still challenge maps that I am stuck on years later, but I still appreciate it for all it is. Dynasty Warriors was not a series by any means that was near and dear to my heart growing up, but both of these spin-offs have become my personal babies of satisfaction in the ultimate ways. There is nothing more satisfying than just picking an adorable character like Zelda and then just mass murdering some faceless enemies, capturing some forts, and defeating some weird guys by waiting for them to use their specials and then striking right afterwards in their recharge periods. Both of the games function pretty similar. Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors are pretty much the exact same. It's just that the mechanics are slightly different when it comes to the way that items are selected and the ways that characters can interact with the map. Fire Emblem makes use of the tactics level of gameplay very well. Throughout the pause menu, you can determine how and where you want specific characters to move at any given moment, and you're not tied down to one character like you were in Hyrule Warriors. So you can swap between up to, I believe it's 4 characters, and you can also pair up with you can pair your characters like you can in Awakening and Fire Emblem Fates, or you can pair with allies on your team, but you can't swap between them. And it is just so much fun. I would say about halfway through the story mode at the moment. I don't know. It's hard to take a guess as I have no idea how long it exactly is. But this game is incredibly fun.
I think the thing to point out there is, sure, Omega Force has done Dynasty Warriors, they've done Samurai Warriors, and those are, the core of what they do as far as gameplay.
Yeah.
But, ignoring Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors, this isn't by a long shot the first time that they're doing licensed games. They also do the One Piece Warriors games. They've done Dragon Quest Heroes. They've done Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
So they've really at this point pushed that gameplay into all sorts of places where, in hindsight, it makes sense. Zelda doing a Warriors style game makes a whole lot of sense. Fire Emblem doing a Warriors game makes a whole lot of sense, but they're really pushing it a lot now.
Yeah, I just think that it's really nice how, I mean, Hyrule Warriors much less so because like it's a regular slash and beat 'em up just with the Hyrule cast, like the Legend of Zelda cast. But then they did add Linkle, and I will love them forever, even if her name is bad. But they really took the time to polish the mechanics that they co-opted from Fire Emblem, like pairing up. You do still get the bonds, and the bonds when they do level up provide you with the character items that you need for leveling up your crests, which is basically your passive effects. So even just playing the game, interacting in different ways with the character set that you have still gives you benefits, even though those benefits don't immediately appear during just regular gameplay of the slash dash and capture forts.
It also uses the weapon triangle, correct?
Yes, which is both a blessing and a curse, as I failed my first mission today because of it. Because it took me too long to defeat a fort boss. The weapon triangle is still very much in play, as are the specific strengths and weaknesses of certain items like Armor Slayer, or bows versus flying enemies or allies. Archers will defeat flyers in like 2 to 3 shots. Swords will not do nearly as much to an armored unit. However, if you have the Plate Slayer status, you will basically also take down those specific enemies in 2 to 3 shots. So the way that they balanced it almost perfectly, there are still ways to get around it. Just using the Awakening, which is basically your hyperactive mode. I don't remember what the actual term from Dynasty Warriors is. I am ashamed of that. But basically, it is your shield breaker mode, where at the end of special meter running out, you do special flourish and you beat the heck out of some enemies real quick in that mode, regardless of the triangle. So it is a way to get around it. But even still, like using the triangle to your advantage, like especially when pairing up units, what I've tended to do is pair up an axe user and a sword user together, and that way I don't really have any concerns. Or I'll pair up just a sword user and a magic user, because magic also surpasses the armor, which is pretty great. They also do have master seals and regular old Fire Emblem stats in general, and that definitely does shape the way that you can select and use your characters for specific reasons. I also just unlocked Corrin, and so that is pretty much all I'm going to be doing now, is playing the beautiful dragon lady from Fire Emblem Fates.
So, playing Hyrule Warriors, the thing that obviously had its story mode that was cool and all, the thing that was really good in Hyrule Warriors, though, is the NES Zelda map with all the adventure stuff. Is there a variant of that in Fire Emblem Warriors?
There is. I haven't experimented with it nearly as much because I want to get through the story mode to unlock all the characters first. But I have played a little bit of the first one, which is Fire Emblem Awakening themed. It takes one of the sort of signature moments within a specific game. So the Fire Emblem Awakening one is when you're at the Dragon's Table fighting Valadar, and like there's burning fire everywhere, and it gives you a specific challenge of defeat certain enemies to unlock different parts of the map that are sealed off by fire. And then you're still graded by the amount of time that you take to complete the task, the amount of enemies that you kill during completing the task, and how much damage you take during the task. And so you're still graded on those on a scale of I think it's C to S. So it's S is the best, A, B, and C. I don't think D is an option. Either that or my experience with playing Hyrule Warriors has just made me kind of not likely to get it. But that still applies, and then you can unlock special costumes through it, as well as certain special items that you can't get normally in the game, but you could get through Amiibo.
I mean, it sounds like a good excuse to break out my Amiibo, at least.
Yeah. The one complaint that I do have about using the Amiibo is that even though I have a Lucina Amiibo, it doesn't give me anything specific to Lucina. When I scan it in, it just gives me a generic weapon, and I don't know if that's because Lucina is just always equipped with the parallel falcon. Falchion? I don't know. It's a weird word. Sword with the hole in it. But yeah, so that's just interesting. And I know, like, even with Tiki's amiibo, it's also a random chance whether or not you'll actually get the dragon stone that you can get. And it might just improve the chances once I actually unlock her, but I haven't done that yet.
Well, sounding like I ought to play that. Do you think it would be actually worth starting now if I'm going to start Mario on Friday, regardless of what's going on?
I would say that you can absolutely complete the story mode within that time frame. I've played approximately 6 hours, and I think I'm about halfway through story mode. Out of the 5 orbs that I need on the shield, I have 4 of them at this point, and I am on mission 15. And usually, like any Fire Emblem, you have about 24 missions before you reach the end game. So it's sticking true to that pacing, it looks like. You definitely have enough time. I mean, the average mission length is only about 20 minutes, if you don't screw up, and it's pretty hard to. I only screwed up on the one where you had to balance taking forts from 2 enemy factions because I spread my units poorly the first time around.
I mean, that sounds like any Warriors game to me then. Any of those, especially when you get into multi-party stuff, you just kind of have to
Oh,
figure
and
out what the
especially
AI
with
is
Fire
going to do.
Emblem too. If you make one misstep when it comes to positioning your units at Fire Emblem, they're as good as dead. Meanwhile, in this case, they're not dead because there's an abundance of healing items that you can use, and I typically have a cleric bonded with a unit that I like to use anyways. So it's more just if you don't position your units correctly, you're not going to get the most effectiveness and map control that you desire in order to complete the goal as quickly as possible. But like even still, that's just par for the course with like any kind of tactics game. So like I really do appreciate that the game functions as a tactics game and a warriors game at the exact same moment, and it's really well done, at least in my opinion. I'm sure other people have found flaws with it, but I'm just absolutely loving and enjoying my time with it so far.
You mentioned dying. Is there permadeath?
You can choose permadeath as an option. I don't, merely because I am a casual scrub.
Sounds about right. Since they started giving you the option in Fire Emblem, I have not gone permadeath because fuck that shit.
Yeah, like permadeath would be cool, but at the same time, I feel like, especially in story mode, like you just screw yourself over.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I started getting out of it in the Fire Emblem games. It's like, I can watch all these guys die and then not save. Or I can not have them die and then come back and do this a second time.
Yeah. With the earlier Fire Emblem games, I definitely feel like, before the option to just have your party members revive after every mission. So just regular mode, I guess you could call it. Tactics was a lot more at the forefront. But now, especially with like Awakening and at least Birthright for Fates, even if you don't use regular mode and you just use casual, you can definitely like still survive pretty easily. I had more difficulties with Fire Emblem Conquest than I did Revelations, which was like meant to be like the main story arc after completing the other two. So
Well, is that all we got for that one then?
pretty much. Play Fire Emblem Warriors. It's good. You'll probably like it if you like to slash and dash. There's a lot of sword users, but whatever.
Swords in my game?
Swords in my Fire Emblem? It's more likely than you think.
Alright.
Wow.
Alright, you had to go there.
I did, but you brought me there first. Thanks, Alberto.
You're welcome. And now I feel horrible. Oh wait,
I
I'm
guess somebody
sick.
had
I'm
to do
allowed-
it.
I'm
You're
sick.
you're allowed to feel horrible.
Yeah.
You are.
Well, anything else that we want to talk about tonight?
I mean, I really got nothing. I basically played A Hat in Time to fill some time before Mario, and now I'm going to have to find another game since I finished that. I mean,
You
can't even remember
could.
what I was playing before that.
You could pick up Mega Man X Command Mission, and we can have a discussion on that.
How
You
long is that
could play
game?
Fire Emblem Warriors because you ordered it off of Amazon.
Oh, there's a good 30-second rant. Amazon crushed my collector's edition of the Switch version of Fire Emblem Warriors, and they sent me an empty case of the 3DS version. 2 for 2, well done.
Oh man, you just have no luck when it comes to Amazon shipping at all.
Oh man, they got some angry emails from me.
Yup.
But
Just like how I get angry email. Well, no, I just get angry tweets sent at me. That's fair though.
I mean, Weiss, you know my issue, my one issue with Amazon that one time when I was looking for the Digimon RPGs.
Is that the one where you just like couldn't get one in good shape?
Couldn't get one in good shape, and when I did find one in good shape, they sent me a Japanese copy of Naruto Generations 4 for the DS.
Sweet.
I still have that game,
Hey,
by the way.
Naruto.
They told me to keep it, and they just refunded my money. And I'm like, cool.
Cool.
And as soon as I bought it, it started showing up at my local game stops, and I'm like, son of a gun.
Yeah.
Where were you when I needed you?
Where is my Corin
say
amiibo when
son
I
of a
need
gun.
her? And the answer is in transit, coming from California, because I shelled out $30 for my beautiful dragon wife.
There you go.
I mean, you
Because
right.
I am the hottest of weeb trash. I'm not afraid to
Uh,
admit it.
I don't know. I've met worse. Both
That's
I
true. I don't take myself seriously enough to be the truest of weeb trash, but I do appreciate the design of Corin and also her abilities, especially in Smash Brothers. But that's another story.
All right, I got a short little padding story about weeb trash that I think you guys will enjoy.
Oh,
So,
here we go.
so card games, right?
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes, this does have something to do with Yu-Gi-Oh. I know I'm also anime trash when it comes to card games, but this is a funny story. So we were at so I was at a tournament with a buddy at my locals for a what's it called? For a new set. A lot of people showed up. Yay. There was me and my buddy and I were actually dueling in the final round of the tournament. And guy behind us who is cosplaying, and I'm using that quotes because he just had like the Millennium Puzzle thing, had a Duelist Kingdom bracelet, and was literally talking like the anime character Yamayugi from the anime series. And I'm like, oh no, please let's not have this. So literally, he was playing the deck that was shown in the anime, and one of another guys right behind me at the back table was playing the rival of the anime character deck, Blue Eyes. So, excuse me. This is what happens when you're sick, you cough. But, so my buddy and I just dueling like normal, and all of a sudden, they start narrating themselves like they were actually in the anime. And we died laughing. Like, we almost got called for time in the round because we were laughing too hard. And especially the one that's acting, that did the cosplay and acting more like the anime weeb trash, was sounding out all the monster effects. And I'm like, please stop. I don't need this in my life. And we died laughing.
I'm a little sad you don't have video of this.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm also might be taking over contract work for that local shop for YouTube videos for card games anyway, so.
Also, I'm wrong. The Fallout video on how nostalgia is bad is actually only 1.5 hours long. So we should probably link that into the description of this video.
I'll also link in the description the Hat in Time Mumble badge that I referenced earlier that Wise finally put 2 and 2 together. Because I explained things horribly.
Yes, definitely post that.
Yeah. I see. Your pet's name is.
Yeah, they do that for the entire like train segment too when you do any sort of text input stuff.
And it's hilarious.
But yeah, the mumble badge is pretty damn good.
I have to ask because I didn't see the credits, but I'm pretty sure that voice that does the badge salesman sounds a lot like Nevercake.
To be honest with you, I didn't see the credits either because they broke like a third of the way through.
That's unfortunate. I mean, if you're still missing out on credits, you could just watch the, 10 hours for Mighty Number 9? My name's in there, and I feel bad about that.
Oh boy.
Part of me was really sad that I didn't back that, and part of me is also glad I didn't back that.
Yeah. Oh well. It is what it is.
So I think that's enough rambling for one night.
I think
Sounds
we
good.
rambled more than we needed to, but that's just me.
Never.
Never enough.
There's no strings on YouTube unless we play music, which I'm not, so.
Yeah, don't do that. We'll get banned.
R.I.P. Demonetized.
Wait, we were
Hashtag mods.
monetized? Oh no.
I don't know.
I don't think the channel is monetized, but
Rolling in literally pennies.
Yep.
I can talk about that in the next episode. God, I hate you back in the day when I was like full time.
It's bad news, man.
I still have never
that's
seen
true.
the 10 cents that I earned, quote, from Maker Studios, so proverbial middle
Well.
finger. And I should probably stop before I get an angry email.
There you go. Expect Mario Odyssey next week.
Yeah.
The end.
Or expect no new podcast episode because we'll be playing Mario Odyssey, which is probably more likely.
Probably, very likely.
Probably, maybe. Well, good night, everybody.
So long, folks.
Thanks for all the fish.
Wait. Oh, yeah, you're a crab.